Hello and welcome to Brainers. I am Nishchal Kumar, the public speaker for Brainers. Today I want to share my perspective on Hyderabad rape episode, and in fact by now I am sure that people, citizens of India, would have already known, they already know as to what has happened. The rapists have been eliminated, the rapists, the perpetrators of that horrendous and diabolical rape, wherein I would not like to take the name of the lady who was raped for obvious reasons. She was brutalized, raped, and finally charred to death. And today in the morning itself, through media platforms, we have learnt that in a supposed encounter, because obviously the information which is being offered by the police who conducted the encounter is that they were trying to recreate this situation as to learn and collect evidence and proof. And during that course of exercise, these rapists were absconding, and therefore the police had no choice but to fire at them. And eventually these rapists were eliminated, these rapists were neutralized via a supposed encounter. The question is, what is the moral of the story? For the first time as a public speaker, I am not wanting to take a stand. And I tell you frankly and honestly that I am not wanting to take a stand because I am within my mind confused. I am feeling ambivalent. I am tending to vacillate between right and wrong. Something has happened, a rape occurred, a murder occurred, post which elimination of the perpetrators of crime has also occurred. Will I be right in suggesting, I don't know whether I am right or wrong, this is a question to the larger masses. Will I be right in suggesting that justice delayed is indeed justice denied? Who is supposed to be the custodian of justice in the society? Who is supposed to be the custodian of justice? The custodian of justice, of course, is judiciary. The judiciary has to serve justice. But we all know, to best of my understanding, there are 2 crore cases which are still pending at the level of judiciary. Nirbhaya occurred some 7-8 years ago, and the perpetrators of the crime, the gothic crime, the diabolical crime, the kind of brutality that had happened in New. I would not like to explain because of obvious reasons. You would understand the kind of brutality that Nirbhaya faced. But it's been 6-7 years. Justice till date has not been served. Who was supposed to serve the justice? Justice was supposed to be served by judiciary. And now, coming back to present, a rape occurred, and I don't know whether if justice has been delivered. I am not sure whether justice has been delivered. This is something that as a collective society we'll have to answer this question. The kind of festivities, the kind of celebration, and the kind of vindication and redemption that I'm watching on the social media platforms and through TV channels, I am getting a sense that possibly people are feeling that justice has been delivered. And I am nobody to disagree to this. Perhaps if people are thinking that justice has been delivered, in fact, I would be inclined to believe that justice has been delivered. The larger question is, what is the change that we are witnessing? The change, the beginning will lead to consequences. A process has been initiated. Now, will this process will be a advantage to the society or a disadvantage to the society is something that has to be considered. Justice, I reiterate, justice delayed is justice denied. What is the role of judiciary? Perhaps it is believed that justice, the role of justice is to punish the offenders and criminals. Role number one. And the role number two of justice, judiciary, which I believe is even more important than punishment, is to create a sense of deterrent. What is this deterrent? Deterrent, when I say deterrent, I mean to state and suggest that judiciary should ensure that crimes don't happen. Crimes are supposed to be punished, and the judiciary also is created so that it creates a deterrent, so that people with criminal bent of mind should be scared of committing a crime. But unfortunately, these criminals have a field day and run amok because they know that in India the judicial system is such that even after committing a murder and a rape, a brutal rape, and charring somebody to death, it will take judiciary 10 years, 20 years to punish them. Therefore, there is a feeling in the mind of criminals that they can get away even after committing crime. And the larger masses, and I am also a citizen of India, we have started to have become very, very, very apprehensive and very, very cynical about judiciary, because we are seeing, and it's very, very sad to see that cases of rape, which are highest degree of crime, are happening in society. And I too have my sisters, I have a mother I have a female friend. So I may come across as somebody who is a misogynist, but within my heart I know that I am not a misogynist. Sometimes I talk truth, and in the course of talking truth, I come across as somebody who is anti-women, who is misogynist, which is untrue. Nevertheless, let me get back to the point. If justice is not being done by this judiciary, should the society be sitting ducks? Should the society choose to sleep over the crimes that are being committed? Or should society take a stand and perhaps even take an action? Perhaps the elimination of rapists in the Hyderabad episode, which has occurred today, is a stand, is an action. I'm not suggesting that, I don't know whether it is justified or not, but there is a feeling, and I can also I also am able to connect with that feeling. In one corner of my heart, I would be inclined to believe that perhaps justice has been delivered. Do we have a choice? The encounter was committed by whom? I would not like to take the name of the police personnel who is managed this encounter because of obvious reasons. But these policemen, who are these policemen? These policemen are also the part of society. They are also the citizen of society. And I know going forward, investigation will be carried out, wherein there would be some neutral body and they would be assigned a job to investigate whether this encounter was a fake encounter or a real encounter. One thing. And then law will take its own course. But unfortunately, in that case, law will take its own very donkey is here to come to a final conclusion. But waiting for justice for donkey's ear is perhaps not creating the much needed deterrence in the society. Perhaps I am a man of very liberal views, and I am somebody who chooses to not believe in killing or capital punishment in my individual capacity, and I can be wrong, and I believe I am wrong. But I am entitled to an opinion that killing and capital punishment perhaps is not the best option. I say this because yes, we are, as a society, we are feeling redeemed, and perhaps within my heart I am feeling that justice has been delivered. And if the Constitution is not able to deliver justice, after all, we are left with no choice. The policemen were left with no choice. This was already very late in the day. It's high time when action was needed. Action was much desiderated. And if this elimination of criminals would not have taken place, perhaps the potential rapist would have felt emboldened, and tomorrow, day after tomorrow, 3 days after tomorrow, again an incidence of rape, cruelty and murder and charring to death would have taken place. This episode, the elimination of criminals, has sent a very strong warning to these potential rapists that if you commit crime like rapes and killing women, judiciary will take its own course, which might take 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 25 years. This is one part of the story. But let me tell it to you, the potential rapist, that in case if you are planning to rape and you are feeling that you can get away with it for 20-25 years, there's a change which has occurred. Possibly, if you rape, there's a paradigm shift which is occurring in India. What happened in Nagaland? This rapist was in the jail. He was dragged out of the jail and beaten to death by the crowd and the mob. And you see, the mob and the crowd has no face. The beauty of the mob and the crowd is that it has no face. A case will be registered against a mob, not an individual. So if a case is registered against a mob and crowd, who will be punished? That is something which rapists have to understand and factor in. Therefore, my dear potential rapists, if you are planning a rape going forward, if you are so sexually starved, there are multiple avenues available in India, and in case if it is not available in India, there is Pattaya. And money can be arranged in case if you are desperate. You can sell your blood, you can sell your kidneys, and you can quench your abyssin thirst for sex. There are avenues available even in India, and Bangkok is also there, Pattaya is also there, and within India I know of the brothels that are running, but I will choose not to name those brothels. But I know that the audience and the potential rapists know that brothels are available. So if you are not able to manage your hormones, there are multiple avenues available to satiate your abyssin thirst for sex. And dear rapist, the message is loud and clear. It has happened in Nagaland, it has happened in Hyderabad, and going forward, today, tomorrow, if something of this kind was supposed to happen, which I believe will not happen given what has happened in Hyderabad, perhaps rapes, there shall be no rapes that would transpire in near future, because a strong signal has been sent. I am not in a mood to congratulate police. I am not in a mood to congratulate police, but the police department has sent a very, very strong signal to the society that the scene will be recreated, evidence will be tried to be collected, and in the process the rapist will try to abscond, and because they will try to abscond, the police will have no choice but to shoot the rapist. So things can happen both covertly and overtly, and it's just not the police. Sometimes even people take things into account. In Nagaland, what has happened? This rapist was dragged out of the jail and the mob lynched him to death. So, potential rapist, if you are feeling that you will get away because of the tardy judicial process, because of the incompetent judiciary in India, that is not a way out any further, sir. Dear rapist, sir, now India has found the wherewithal, the courage to take action, and the action will be immediate and perhaps even on the spot. If you are planning to rape, perhaps you will be neutralized and eliminated, beaten to death, charred to death, cut into 1,000 pieces, 1 million pieces on the same day or perhaps the next day. So now, in fact, as a public speaker, I have to be careful and I have to be calibrated. But I believe that message is reaching. There are certain subtle hints that I am giving to the potential rapists. And whether what police has done is justified or unjustified, a committee would be committed, committee would be instituted, and they will deliberate upon it. But I would like to make an appeal to the judiciary and the government, including Narendra Modi. Sir, you are my Prime Minister. Sir, you do what? You carry out a survey in India, and you carry out a referendum and a plebiscite to know what people of India think about this elimination of criminals in Hyderabad case, which has been conducted by the police. You please take the opinion of people, what they feel, whether they feel today whether this is something which was needed or this is something which is uncalled for. I would suggest the government and the judiciary to carry out a referendum so as to know as to what citizen of India is thinking on the subject. I understand that we cannot create anarchy and chaos in the society. If we take law into our account, into our hands, it will create an chaos and anarchy in the society. But unfortunately, what do I do as a citizen of India? Sir, I am feeling dejected and despondent. I am feeling helpless and I am feeling hopeless because our judiciary is not punishing, neither punishing and nor creating a deterrent. Therefore, I will not allow my sister to be raped. I will not allow my mother to be raped. I will be left with no choice. I will feel helpless. And when I feel helpless and hopeless, I would have to take initiative. Because I cannot allow my sister to be raped. I cannot allow my mother to be raped. And you are not giving me justice. You are not giving me security. You are not giving security to my mother and sister. So therefore, I will have to factor in all these things. I know that the role of the justice is something which a judiciary should deliberate upon and deliver. But unfortunately, sir, my sister and my mother is feeling insecure. And I know that I am not supposed to, as an Indian upright citizen, I am not supposed to take law into hand. But unfortunately, this is not individual me who is taking law into stand. There is a mob, there is a crowd who has come to a profound conclusion that now it's time to take law into their hands. And mind you, crowd has no face, and judiciary cannot punish a crowd. Judiciary can punish an individual, but judiciary cannot punish a crowd. And you carry out a plebiscite, you carry out a survey, you carry out a referendum, you please ask the people as to what is their opinion on the subject, whether the elimination, neutralization of these criminals, rapists was justified or unjustified. You carry out that referendum and see for yourself how people are thinking. So there is a strong 2 or 3 strong warning here, and I would like to say it a warning. The first warning is to the criminals and the potential rapists that, sir, if you are planning a rape and thinking that you will get away with it, I as an Indian, and I am not the only Indian, we are a crowd, we are a mob. Judiciary will take its own course. Now we have initiated the process. Perhaps the crowd will neutralize you. The rapist, Mr. Rapist, the crowd will eliminate you in the most brutal way. Perhaps you will be bobby-tized, castrated and chopped into a million pieces. So the message, perhaps the potential rapists are being able to understand what I am trying to suggest. Point number 1. Point number 2, judiciary. I know that there is a process that you have to follow, and that process takes a very, very long time. So perhaps the society is sending, the first signal has been sent to the rapist and second signal has been sent to the judiciary, sir. Mr. Judiciary, if you don't deliver justice on time, we will extract justice. Therefore, in conclusion, I will be not inclined now. Now I have to take a stand. And I take this stand without fear or favor. What has happened in Hyderabad, the elimination of these criminals, these brutal criminals, no, perhaps is justified. With that said, I conclude. Thank you.